What's poppin' YouTube? It is your boy Jesimein and welcome to another gameplay video. Today we're going to be talking about the 1.6 PvP changes specifically because I am a PvP player and that's where I spend most of my time. Before I get started, the build that I'm using in this video is a SASG with Alpha Bridge for those who are curious because I'm going to be melting some people as you'll see shortly. But let's get right into the video. 1.6 is on its way. I don't know when the PTS is coming for PC. It's not coming to console for those who are expecting it. The information that I got about 1.6 is by watching fellow YouTubers and also reading up on the patch notes specifically and also the state of the game. And the changes I've seen are insane as far as what we're used to. I'm not going to say there's much new stuff besides this one build. I believe it's called the Seeker build, where every third shot, if you land the bullets, the first two bullets, it becomes automatic crit. I believe that's the only gear set that's coming with 1.6. I mean, we've seen logos of like 5 different other gear sets, but I guess they have other plans for that. But as of right now, as far as my knowledge, there's one new gear set, and it's something Seeker set. And every time you land a third bullet, it's a crit. So I believe this will work amazing with sniper rifles or maybe even with shotguns. We're going to have to see when that comes out. But one big change is to the named weapons. They are no longer called named weapons. They're called exotic weapons. And I guess they have their given talent, the free talent that is specific to that gun. It's changed into something like incredibly OP. Like the Tenebrae is like if you hit an enemy's weak point, it resets all your teammates' skills. The Hungry Hog is after you kill an enemy and you keep holding down the trigger. If you let go of the trigger, you lose the buff, but you get a 20% damage buff while you're still shooting. So it's like a super tanky spray type talent, and I guess every other named item is getting some special super ability, so be on the lookout for that. And yes, don't worry if you have a named item now, since the gear set number itself isn't changing, that transcribes over into whatever you have. So if you have a Tommy gun or you have a showstopper, it's gonna change into an exotic weapon and it's gonna get whatever ability that they rework for it. So yeah, but the big changes that are coming are gonna impact the meta, and what I mean by that is we all know right now Alpha Bridge is the current meta. The ability to have 6 talents is incredibly OP, and everybody's exploiting that in a sense. Not exploiting it, but using it. So what they did to Alpha Bridge, they finally did something in a nerfing nature. And what they did is now, instead of getting all 6 talents, you only get the free talent when you have 2 of the same items equipped. So everything but uncomplicated, so I've heard. So I don't think it works uncomplicated. I don't think it works with like the super OP talents from the named weapons. So those who rely on Alpha Bridge and those who love it so much, be prepared for a change. Yes, it's still going to be an amazing build regardless because it still has all of its same buffs. It still has its damage buff, and you still get a free talent. But you just won't have 6 talents anymore. So be on the lookout for that. One big change that I'm kind of excited for is the Tactician's authority change. And the big change is usually when you're rocking a 4-piece and you stack up your skill power from bullets landing, over 10 seconds that buff goes away. But now basically you can kind of hoard the skill power and use it like kind of like a Kameo wave. Like for example, if you're using it with a sticky bomb, you stack up 400k skill power or whatever the cap is going to be, and then the next skill you use is affected off that. So if I want to stack up and do a mega pulse, I'll be able to help my teammates stack up my skill power, save it, and then when I get full max cap, I pop the pulse and have whatever the returns are going to be. So that's really good, especially because now armor is getting reworked and health is getting reworked. So it's going to be, in a sense, from what I've heard, armor isn't really that big of an impact anymore. So in a sense, for the people who are going to be running skill builds, since they kind of raised the cap once again, now that the World Tier 5 has like a higher skill cap demand, basically skill builds are going to be effective again. It's just that they have to commit more into it. They want to be able to have that option for people who want to play skill builds. So be on the lookout for that big change. I think that that's going to be really interesting to see, especially because I'm a tactician lover like that. That's my favorite build of all time. So be on the lookout for that. So another big change is for the people who wanted to run support. Reclaimer got a huge rework with the support station. So now the support station is centered around Reclaimer. And if you're rocking a 4-piece, from what I've heard, you get all 3 abilities from the support station. So if a Reclaimer puts down a support station, you have the unlimited ammo, you have the immunity, and then you have a big chunk with the revive station. And I guess they changed revive where you get a big chunk of health and then it goes healing over time. So it's a giant support station like build base, and that's what we've been waiting for. Because I mean, the explosives and the fire, that was annoying. The consumables, that wasn't really that big of an impact, especially because of the cooldown. So I'm really interested to see how the support players run this build. So be on the lookout for that. Another big change that's coming to the DZ is, of course, the new DZs that they're adding. They're coming with landmarks for the PvE players that feel like, they can't get loot out. When you clear a landmark in the upper DZs, when I mean upper, I mean DZ North, which is the new DZs. The enemies come in waves instead of just clearing a landmark and that's it. They come in different waves, and then when you finally complete it, you get a free item that's just given to you, kind of like when you get a supply drop. So for the PvEers, be on the lookout for that. So as far as direct PvP, I feel like, I'm not going to say people are going to be more squishy, but because of this whole armor change, I believe that now that we have these exotic talents coming out, now that we're going to have skill players being able to fully commit and make glass type skills, you're going to have to worry about dying now. And now, guess what? They also changed the health regen. So the people who invest into skill power, remember the whole skill haste issue where, you didn't really notice a difference and it wasn't really a problem because of the whole triage thing. Now skill haste is extremely important because they nerf the time average player's heal comes back. So if you really want to survive and use your heals, you have to commit in the skill power. They really made that a factor this time around because people got tired of DPS players being able to take from both worlds and survive. So if you're a DPS player primarily, you're going to have to really, really melt and really, really evade because your health is, I don't know exactly how much seconds it is now, but they made a big change for that. So if you commit to DPS and health only, you're going to get DPS and health only because your skills are going to be considerably weaker, especially since they changed it with the world tier. So fire turrets are going to be nerfed basically if you're not running skill. Sticky bombs, seeker mines, pulse, health itself, all that stuff is going to be harder on those who don't spec into skill power. So be in mind when you have these electronic rolls, this may be a new type of meta we're going to be invested into. Before we can run specialized and we're good. For those who are running DPS, you don't have to really spec into skill power because specialized did it for you. I don't know if they reworked specialized, but I know they reworked the skill power itself. So that number under the actual amount of skill power, so like when you have like 3,000 electronics, your electronics number is 10 times more important. So if I were you right now, I wouldn't be re-rolling anything, especially because we don't exactly know what the meta is going to be. But make sure if you have electronic pieces, don't just trash them. They may come into some importance in this upcoming meta. So for the players who are fine with where the meta is and they're good and they feel like they're solid and they feel like their build's going to go over, don't get too confident, especially because now that everything matters, a lot of pieces that we're currently using, I'm not going to say they're useless, but they're not going to fit into the puzzle piece as well as they did in this current meta. So my advice would be, if you have anything to reroll, keep it right now, especially because if you have any weapons that you rolled up to the max and you're like, bro, like, what a waste of a weapon. They changed the recalibration now that it's more important to like roll and stuff. They're going to have it where you have unlimited recalibrations just as a set cap. So it's going to cost the same amount no matter how many times you reroll. So that's pretty dope. And as far as when it comes to PvP itself, it's going to be a big change because now, since they added assault rifles having relevance and SMGs kind of fell in the back burner, SMGs are still viable, they're just not as viable as the assault rifles. And since Alpha Bridge was the main core of assault rifle builds, the fact that you only get one talent, it puts it on par with other builds. You don't see many striker builds, you don't see many even nomad builds. You don't see builds like that because Alpha Bridge got 3 additional talents, which is as if you ran 3 more 2-pieces. But now that you only get one, it puts it on par with other builds. Predator's Mark, you get an 8% buff on base damage. You get 1 additional buff on top of your talents. And now with Alpha Bridge, it's the same thing. Yes, you get your buff with damage, but now you only get 1 talent, it kind of puts it on par with every build now. Now every build's utility has been buffed in a sense because the King Alpha Bridge build has been taken down. So keep that in mind when you guys are specking and farming right now. Make sure that you have an open mind for all builds because every time the meta changes, something comes back, and it's just something to look out for. This is my advice to you guys, especially since I love breaking metas and I love making creative builds outside of what everybody's using. Best believe I'm hunting for my Tactician's Authority gear right now. I'm hunting for all forms of it because I want to see where I need to be before I even get there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the content, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the information that I provided for you guys. It's been real. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll be seeing you guys in 1.6. It's going to be lit, man. Have a good one.